Everyone, welcome back to another bonus episode of Tangle Tower. Thank you for tuning in. Full transparency, I'm a bit behind schedule when it comes to having episodes ahead of time ready so that I don't have to stress too much. So, in other words, I may not be able to do a super long episode today. I may have to do just kind of the regular chunk just for the sake of my sanity so I can prepare properly for this week. So, yeah, anyways, apparently I had forgotten some notes for some of the characters, so let's go back and review some of those really quick. So for Felix, there's this one last node. Felix has a tricky and very specific head shape, so I spent some time figuring it out from different angles first. He was the second character I animated, and we used him as a testing ground for a lot of the technical challenges we'd face going forward. Also, tattoos are really annoying to animate. You know, I didn't really think too much about his tattoos, because I know they mentioned more simplified tattoos, so I guess, like, I noticed this anchor here, but I guess he has, like, stripes and things like that. I didn't really notice too many tattoos, so that's kind of interesting. Oh, I didn't even realize there was this option here. That's pretty cool. All right, so there was that. Oopsie. And then for Freya, I had apparently also not. Okay, there we go. Aww, even showing an older version of her. That's so cute. Seriously, she seemed like such a passionate and wonderful character. I never ended up doing any animation of Freya, but I drew these because she's actually one of my favorite character designs in the game. Me too. I love this design. As I'm sure you'll find out, there's a good deal more to her than just murder victim. Yes, she was the person, I keep pressing the wrong button, sorry. The instigator of many things that happened to get things to move. I think there are probably more drawings of Fitz on this slide than actual frames of animation in the game. Oh, he's so expressive. Ultimately, it worked best for him to be almost creepily static. Yep, he was this horrifying mountainous creature in his environment. He's a kind soul, but has trouble around people, so limiting his movements helped make him come across as tense and uncomfortable. That came across super well. And yeah, when he did this kind of thoughtful little tilt and just a kind of limited movements, it came across so well. They did such a great job. All right, locations, let's do it. Wow, so cool. Like, just these sketchy drawings just invoke so much like emotion, and like the colors are so nice and the placement, like it's so pleasing to look at. You know, it's very rough, but it's like so pleasing to look at. That's awesome. Okay, just looks like a bedroom. How do I make it unique? Well, you did a good job. I imagine Freya being given the short straw and was tucked away in the boiler room, so she had to make do with what she had. But they ended up putting her in the storage, yeah? Unless storage is also a boiler room. What resulted was an intimate industrial space that Freya manages to bring a lot of warmth and creativity to. Since you never meet Freya, it was a great way to deliver some of her personality. The flashing red light, I wasn't into that. It was a little scary. Despite the lack of natural light, I think Freya's room is one of the nicest spaces in all of Tangle Tower. The large, ominous painting leaning against the wall suggests Freya is someone who is troubled, but is willing to look her anxieties in the face. Very cool. Yeah, it turned out so good. Like, concept art. I can't do environmental art. I can hardly even do character art. That's kind of the only thing I can do, but even then, you know, it's difficult for me. Environmental art is like so mind-blowingly beyond me. I don't even know how to begin doing perspective, set dressing, like considering all the effects that somebody would have because of their personality and their lifestyle. Like, that's so much to think about. People are crazy. Concept artists, Paper is a concept artist, she draws amazing environments, so cool. Major props, dude. Fifi has the biggest room in the house, but she doesn't care for it. Oh, she has the largest room. Huh. I imagine an untidy looking Victorian lab where she could conduct her experiments. I later added elements that would point to her being more of a messy teenager. Mattress on the floor, empty cans of soda, and paper stuck to the windows. Nice. Yeah. Huh. She has the biggest room. I wonder if, like, so they said Freya had the short end of the stick, so is it because, like, she was kind of a bit ostracized by the family? And maybe does Fifi have the biggest room because she's, like, the next heir? I'm just kind of wondering if it plays into their sort of standings in the family, because that would be pretty interesting. I could see that being the case. At first, this room was set higher up in Tangle Tower, and I imagined this sophisticated, ornate-looking attic space. Taxidermy played a huge role in decorating it. After all, the people who use this room are avid collectors. Oh, so is the taxidermy... Are they mystids or just regular creatures? I guess we don't know. Oops, sorry if I forgot to click through certain things. No, okay. Double triple checking. Yeah, I missed this. Okay. I gotta double triple check that I make it through all of these things. Let's see. Yep, cool. Okay, so we go to this one. The key to this room is the juxtaposition between the chandelier, not pictured, hanging above the messy mattress on the floor. They did mention the mattress or the chandelier saying like, oh, it looks kind of like, I don't know, seems kind of like tacky or something like that. I think that Sally said that. The idea was to hint at how Fifi isn't especially keen to rise to her position within the household. She'd rather just be a teenager. Yep. Nice. A lot of thought really got put into all this, huh? Yeah, okay. We wanted this chamber to feel darker and more hidden. When we made the decision to add an aquarium through the center of the mansion, it added a whole new feel to the room. It was certainly a very, very striking thing as soon as you enter the lobby, so to see it continue through here is like a very interesting choice. A windowless room with the only real source of light coming from the tube of water really added to the creepy atmosphere, right? Why didn't they add in more lamps? Did they purposefully, the original users of the room purposefully want it to be super creepy looking? Why wouldn't they want to add more lighting in there to, you know, do their experimental stuff? Yeah, I guess it's all taxidermy. Oh, that's... So, I guess they were, well, some of them were, they said they were more dedicated to research and some of them said they were more dedicated to, like, hunting them. So I guess either way... it's kind of a scary bunch. I don't know, man. I don't really know. Did I skip it again? Okay, wait. Yes. Okay, I'm having trouble with this. Sorry. Okay. Thematically, we needed the study to be a mix of elements, an ornate gentleman's study, a research lab, and a private taxidermy collection. Yeah, so it's kind of all those things rolled into one. The chains and iron cages tip it over the edge into feeling fully sinister, especially this. But yeah, the chains too. The chains too. Wow. Super cool. Super awesome. I originally designed Penny's room to look like it belonged to someone elegant, aristocratic, and also a bit of a fairy tale princess. Initially, we were going to include a secret doorway through a fireplace, but we decided against it. Oh, was it to add to her the element of her being evil, a villain? I mean, that sounds pretty neat. That sounds pretty cool. I'm trying to figure out which section this is. Okay, maybe... I wanted Penny's room to feel purposefully romantic, and I went as far as having a cherry blossom branch come through the window. We imagined that Penny was constantly traveling, so piles of suitcases became a key visual in her room. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's very fantastical to have the tree shooting in here, but that also makes it inconvenient because then you can never truly close your window. All kinds of things come flying in here. Sure, you want birds to come flying in there, but it could be bugs, mosquitoes during the summer. That'd be horrible. You don't want just an open window. You need a screen for that at least. Interesting. Shaped like a heart. Aww. Uncomfortable amount of faceless mannequins. Very cool. Very cool. This layout image shows an earlier version of the puzzle in this room. It was originally connected to the suitcase tucked under the bed. Oh? Later, we had the idea for the birdhouse puzzle. Right, that's where it ended up being. And that suitcase was swapped out for a little tea set where Penny sits and drinks tea with her birds. I forget what it originally looked like. The tea set? Where was the tea set? On a table or here somewhere? Anyways, I really like the layout of this room. I think it's super cute. There's just like, it's just so charming. It's like places you would want to visit. This would be like a very nice layout for like a relaxing little tea room or a cafe or something. I can totally see it. I'm in love with her room. It looks so good. A giant bird cage attached to the side of Tangle Tower that serves as an aviary. This meant designing an interior space that was more circular structurally. This is somewhere Penny spends a lot of time, so it only felt right that the space should feel elegant. I liked all the the little random writing desk that was springing out of the side, and like her table was really cute. It all looked very nice. Oh wow, that's what it looks like from the outside? So it's truly just a very open space, yeah? Oh, I like seeing how it looks from the outside. That's really cool. Yo. Oh man, they're so good at like colors. They're so good at colors, so pleasing. The aviary is a strange room in a sense that it has both outdoor and indoor elements, right? I worked on blending those elements visually, having gutters for rainwater to escape and frames on the walls to keep it feeling domestic at the same time. Yeah, which made me think that like, if it really is such an open space and there really is rainwater to let it escape, what if rainwater just, it's inevitably gonna come in here because there's no cover, right? Unless they put like a giant cloth over it like you're covering a bird cage. But inevitably it'll come in here and it's going to ruin all the paintings and portraits. You'd have to cover them. Obviously, not everything has to be completely practical, but I feel like, you know, the designers obviously put a lot of thought into it to reflect the person and the character and the kind of the function. But I don't know, that seems very inconvenient. The rainwater is going to ruin all the portraits unless they're waterproofed somehow, unless everything in here is waterproofed. Like outdoors furniture, it's made of that like special material so that it like rejects water and stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe they did some kind of coating with that for the portraits. I don't know. Sometime after this layout image was created, we decided to add both the mirror and the writing desk to the aviary. The idea was to make it feel more lived in, like you could almost imagine Penny spending most of her time here. Yeah, the writing desk was like kind of randomly jutting out here, right? Like she'd have to kind of bring the chair over there. I feel like it'd be more convenient if she had a second chair or something like that. Neat. Cool. Oopsie. This is where you would find Fifi studying away. I had some early ideas of a grand library with so many books that some would be suspended off the ceiling. Oh, like hung? That could be pretty cool. That'd be pretty neat. I liked the idea of a huge round window that would pull our focus towards it. Wow, there certainly is a lot of... Oh, I like that. I don't see a function to it, but I think it visually that looks super cool. Because like, why would you need to... So it's like, there's no more room on the floor and the shelves, like it's too stacked with books, so I gotta start hanging them. But like taking it out of the stack would be very inconvenient, so I don't see, okay, but still, visually, it's very cool. Again, it doesn't always have to be functional, though it is nice to try and consider that as well. We eventually scaled down, but I kept the big window. Yeah, very cool. This library is a shared space, but it's also Fifi's haven, in which she has created a little space for herself. Her science experiments and test tubes spill out onto the ordinary-looking library to make it her own. Really makes it her own. Hold on, BRB, there has been this loud-ass cricket that's like inside the windowsill to my room, and I can't chase it out. It just will not leave. It will not shut up. It's been bleeding into my recordings today, which has frustrated me to no end. So BRB, let me try and scare it. Okay, I kind of just opened and closed the window repeatedly to try and give it a little scare. I guess, I don't even know how it got in there. I'm on the second floor, and it's somehow just stuck underneath the place where it slides, so there's this like little open space. I don't know how it got in there, and I can't get it to leave. Anyways, I'm going to continue. Yeah, I already read through all this. Okay. Again, the colors are just so on point. They're so on point. One of the challenges of writing dialogue for the library was coming up with various excuses as to why Grimoire and Sally don't read any of the books. There are also some story hints hidden in this room. For instance, someone has taken all the insect books off the shelves. Right, I remember noticing that. Huh. Yeah, and some other hanging questions I had by the end of the game that I forgot to ask. It was two different ones. One being that, like, what was up with this one, as well as the one in Fitz's greenhouse. I don't know if they ended up having any significant relevance. I certainly didn't have to actively use them for anything, but maybe they were a hint to something. I don't know. I was confused as to why we could click on it and look at it, like, up close. I feel like that, right? Why would there be that? The second question I had was, who left Freya's, like, the little, like, crab audio thing? I did ask it during the playthrough, but I forgot to reiterate by the end of the game. I still couldn't figure out who gave that to us. I wasn't sure. We can't assume it was, like, Freya's ghost or some kind of magic trick, you know? Like, I don't know if it was, like, Fifi or Poppy leading us along, because, again, they were in on the investigation. Like, they knew about what was going on. Were they trying to subtly lead us? Help us along, or was it for some reason Penny because she wanted somebody to catch her? Like, I don't think that was it, but it's a possibility. So I'm not really sure. Anyways, those were some other hanging questions I had that I had forgotten to address. Yeah, so anyways, very cool. Grand Hall. Very early on in development, we visited Leighton House in London, which had influence on the feel of the mansion. Every overly embellished room felt unapologetically different from the next, and one side of the house felt completely different from the other side. Yeah, every single room was unique, but it is true that, like, because of that, it doesn't feel like a cohesive whole, but that absolutely works for it because Tangle Tower on the outside looks completely disjointed, and that's like perfect. It's symbolic. It represents the family and how it's disjointed. But yeah, no, it totally worked. It totally worked that every single place was, like, super unique. Look at how weebly wobbly it was. I never noticed it being, like, different colors or anything like that. Huh. I hadn't noticed that was a detail, so that's pretty cool. Oh, I love their use of, like, their line work. So it's very pleasing. It's super pleasing. The staircases give an early idea of the differences between the two families. The wooden, it really is different, down-to-earth staircase of the Fellows and the ornate, sophisticated stairway to Pointer Tower. Wow! I never noticed. I see. The fireplace wedged between the two is actually very important later on in the game. Yeah, they seem to be stating this as if you didn't just finish the game. So maybe you're supposed to see... I don't know. Yeah, they're stating as if you haven't finished the game yet. Interesting. Pretty cool. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. A little egg to represent Flora's penchant for eggs. It's very beautiful, but I think the Grand Hall is perhaps the most normal room in Tangle Tower, in a good way. As you enter this neutral space, you think, oh yeah, classic murder mystery in a big mansion, got it. It gives the particular eccentricities of the other rooms something to contrast with. I kind of agree with that. Did it end up looking like this? I don't know, because I don't remember it being too different, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. Yeah, because even the difference between the banners is very, very different. One is way more like fancy than the other. We knew from the start that this is where you would first encounter Poppy, hauntingly playing her piano. I imagined a trail of discarded music sheets that would lead you to her. I felt like her piano could be this messy little workspace, reminiscent of Beethoven's. There were a lot of music sheets scattered all over the floor. I like this visual, super cool. Wow, how fun. They have wonderful line work, super awesome. I could just stare at these all day, live in them for hours. I could live in these spaces. Ooh. Look at that marker. Ugh, so good. This room is heavy and draped to match Poppy's vibe. A big theme of the Tangle Tower building is the idea of nature taking over and creeping in. Right, I think it was mentioned somewhere earlier that was the case. So there was like nature and foresty stuff, which is super cool. I remember seeing a lot of really neat like spaces, living spaces, shop spaces in Japan. They seem to have a lot of like kind of hideaway, hole in the wall, like small little hidden gems all over the place, and it's very cool what creative things they do with it. I love them so much. But one of them I walked into was a clothing store. It was very nature themed. The top had a lot of like green and like kind of fairy lights, and a lot of their hangers and things like that was very wood. I think there was like literally just some wooden hangers and just like tree elements. It was really fun, so I really liked that. Yeah. Let's see. Covering the ceiling with foliage added to that suppressive feeling. I loved the idea of Poppy looking like a specter silhouetted against the bright windows. Yes, like a ghost. A ghost. My favorite detail of the music room is the moss and foliage along the ceiling. It gives the room a little mystical forest ambience. In real life, plants growing through the ceiling like that would probably be a problem. Yep, I think real ones definitely would be difficult to maintain. Oh, it reminded me of another one I saw in Japan that was, Paper and I didn't end up going in because it had a long line, but there was this tiny little cafe that looked super popular and very, very cute, and the top was completely lined with dried flowers, just dried flowers everywhere. I'm not sure if that would be like an allergic hazard for people with allergies. I don't know if that would be active enough for it to affect you. I have no clue, but it looked beautiful, so that kind of reminds me of that as well. Yeah, but it would be difficult to maintain live plants. Dead plants, sure, they're just decoration, you're just hanging them at that point. Live plants, yeah, that'd probably be an issue. Much like everything else in this game, I really didn't want this greenhouse to feel stereotypical. Oh, so cute! They should, I wonder if they would have an art book or something, or like a little digital sketchbook, or like it's just so lovely. I can see this on like, I don't know, a postcard, a print, a design. Like, look, this is so cute. It's so well done. Oh my gosh. Instead, I started to think about it being more like a giant glowing terrarium. Wait, is that supposed to be Grimoire? That's really cute. Oh, I remember like they were talking about the tiny little tools that he could have been holding and using in his animations. Oh, and it's like a little jewel case. That's so cute. I based the interior on Victorian greenhouses, much like the ones you would find in Q gardens. I'm actually unsure what that is. Look at how terrifying he looks. We knew before sketching that this greenhouse would be unique because of the strange plant life. I wanted to push the dense shadowiness so it could feel like someone or something could easily hide inside. It definitely took me a moment to notice him when I had first walked in. Oh, so beautiful. I'm not gonna stop saying that. I'm just so overwhelmed at how amazing the art in this game is. I'm so stunned, dude. Despite all the wonderful plants, my favorite thing about the greenhouse is actually the tiled floor. It really ties the room together. It really does. It really does. It gives me a very good sense of the space. I like it. Did I get through everything? Yes, good. Yes, good. The main feature of this garden was that it contained a secret door that would be found somewhere later in the game. The door had to be hidden in plain sight and not give away its existence too early on. Yep, they did a good job of that. I sketched a few possible options, mostly involving garden ornaments, but most of it felt convoluted. I like it. I like this little lion right here. Look at it. Very cute. I really liked the idea of this location having a dual purpose. I experimented with the composition switching focus simply with a change of lighting. At the beginning of the game, the pathway leads your eye through to the mansion, but later in the game, the lighting changes to bring your focus to the secret door. I wonder if did they actually end up reflecting that because I don't remember the lighting changing, but that's pretty cool. From the earliest planning stages, I knew I wanted this game to take place in a large house. However, we were keen to find as much variety as possible within that setting, and elaborate gardens were an obvious choice. The various statues are good for environmental storytelling too. Yeah, they immediately just kind of hook you in with that fish statue right at the beginning of the game. Oh, I didn't even notice this guy, but I remember the little egg statue. Cool. The stone square is where you first meet Hawkshaw, my love, the love of my life. How could you betray me so? We wanted her presence to feel disconnected from the house, but still very official. Yeah, you know, when they put it into words, it's like so amazing how well they pulled it off, because she really did seem super out of place. Like that's an accurate and apt description. So they like really, the things they were intending, they pulled it off so well. It's cool. I really liked the idea of Hawkshaw having a mobile office and a handy desk that could open up from within a suitcase, where she wouldn't stop us from cracking a code open for some evidence of her murder weapon. In fact, it's in fact a piece of her murder weapon. She just casually let us solve it right next to her and ask her about it, and she didn't even seem to care. So anyways, whatevs, I guess. A wonderful rough painting of the stone square by Catherine. I like how this view of the stone square shows other areas, the gardens on the left, the main entrance at the back, and the greenhouse on the right. Yeah. You could see all those different locations from a distance, so that was really neat. What really caught my eye here was all the mist. All the mist surrounding here. I didn't realize that, I guess they had shown that in the very, very beginning on the first screen of the game, but I just kind of didn't realize how misty the surface was, so I find that fascinating. Maybe to obscure the fact that the bottom is so clear and has nothing in it. Maybe some kind of thing like that. Who knows? And they were talking about the giant mushrooms. Right, I see. It's showing that because of the greenhouse, I guess. I didn't really think about that. I didn't really question the giant mushrooms too much when they had first talked about it, but I can see why it's there. We needed a neutral location where Detective Hawkshaw could set up her office without being in anyone's way. She isn't native to Tangle Tower, so we thought she could be outside the main building. The mobile trunk desk thing is very convenient, unless it were to rain, I suppose. Well, I'm sure, you know, just like every area, I'm sure they have some way to take care of the rain disturbing their items. The goal of this location was to introduce players to the unique setting of the game. Yeah, it was very immediate. It was like, whoa! The water has special qualities, and we wanted to sell that idea visually. When creating it, I was thinking about iridescent oil and swirling marbling inks. Right, and again, at the beginning of the game, I compared that to a location, Noki Bay in Super Mario Sunshine, if you've played it. The water looks just like that. It looks kind of like mixing colors and sort of like oily a bit at the same time, so I totally feel that. Oh, the cricket's back. It's okay. I'll try my best to noise remove it later. Who cares? Even though Tangle Tower is isolated on a very small island on a lake, I wanted players to start off a little way away from the building itself. That way, there's a buildup of anticipation as they approach the house and the crime scene. Yeah, a little bit of a stretch. Ooh, and you can kind of see it in the distance. That's very cool. This is where I was super overwhelmed in the beginning. Like, oh my god, how many things can I click on? I think when I was comparing it to like Ace Attorney and stuff, it's the fact that it's voiced that it seems to take a lot longer, so it seems like there's way more content, whereas like something like Ace Attorney, it's not voiced, so you can just click on everything, read it real fast with your eyes, and just move on. So I didn't feel as overwhelmed by the volume of that. Again, I got used to it over time about how much they have, like how much stuff they can comment on, but definitely at the very beginning I was like, oh my god, because I don't want to like skip anything. I want to make sure I do everything, but this is so much and I haven't even left the first screen yet. So anyways, got used to it over time. I wanted the front door of the mansion to feel strange, much like the rest of the tower. The door started out looking somewhat Art Nouveau, but I felt like it wasn't grand or inviting enough. Ooh, this one certainly looks very spooky. Doesn't that look like a giant scary pumpkin face? Oh, maybe that's on purpose. It looks like a face in all of them. That's so intense. And so funny that I had missed that letter in the bush until like halfway through the game. I definitely didn't notice it, so I'm glad that there was a little hint button to kind of point it out. It's like, hey, maybe you want to revisit the front entrance. I'm like, wait, what? Why? And I'm like, oh, how did I miss that? After looking at a bunch of themed haunted mansions, I tried out a round archway and it made the door much more impactful. I really liked the contrast of this ornate, homely front door that was surrounded by giant tree roots and moss, almost like some sort of undiscovered temple. Who's taking care of this stuff? Who's maintaining this stuff? Fitz, it should be you taking care of the plant life around here. Why you gotta let it overgrow, huh? The main entrance was one of the areas we returned to later on to add more points of interest. For instance, you can see this layout drawing doesn't yet include the statue of Lord Yeah, there's a little thing, the doorbell, all kinds of stuff to look at. Cool! the Fitz's room. This room is the simplest room in the whole house to reflect Fitz's character. Yeah, it was so plain. Whoa, is that a little love shrine? Oh, I want to see their comments on that. He spends most of his energy and time in the greenhouse, so he pays little attention to his living quarters. It was quite difficult to make this room visually appealing without adding anything. Oh, so wait, so it's just a little shrine like dedicated to Penny? Oh, definitely. Oh, it's like a little corner for it that they didn't end up implementing. I guess all that was left of it was just a little heart card. I would have liked to see more of this because their relationship wasn't very clear to me. It really didn't seem like he had too much affection for her. Like, you could argue it's because he's not a very emotionally displaying person. And again, he's very minimal and things like that. But I don't know, when he talked about her, he just didn't seem too enthusiastic or it didn't feel like there was much of a spark or a connection, you know? And which, again, leads me to think that Penny's reasoning of him seeming so distant, like, I was, like, buying into that because I was like, yeah, he doesn't seem to really care about you. Like, there seems to be no chemistry between you guys. So, like, them saying, like, oh, like, Fitz couldn't believe that it would be Penny in the end because he likes her so much. I didn't buy that. Yeah, so I would have liked a little bit more development or build up or context of like their relationship and their feelings for each other. But this is very cute. This is very cute. I would have liked to see a little bit more of that kind of thing. Originally, we wanted to include a shrine to Penny in Fitz's room and for it to be the only area of warmth and color on his space representative of his real life relationship with her. We later substituted this for a single card from Penny that he displays on his shelf fondly next to one of his plants. Okay, I guess I was supposed to get all this intense love and warmth from a single card. All right, that's fine. That's cool. The concept of a room with virtually nothing in it made for a couple of fun lines of dialogue between Grimoire and Sally. Yeah, they were just like, whoa, look, it's nothing! Just like stuff like that. In some abstract way, Grimoire is vaguely aware that he's playing through an adventure game, and he's baffled to find a room with nothing to examine. Breaking the fourth wall there. It's okay, we found some juicy secrets here and there, so it was worth it. It was okay. I knew this bedroom had to belong to a gothic, reclusive, angsty teenager. I wanted to include a lot of pagan imagery, but didn't want to use any symbols that meant anything specific. Most of the iconography is a vague nod to that theme. Yeah, there was a lot going on in this room. I love the gothic curtain thing. I used to really want like a big bed frame with the like curtains around it. I used to think that was really cool. Or the one that's like kind of skinny like this and it's more circular, so it kind of folds outwards and becomes like a circle. I always thought those were really cool and I wanted one. I don't know if I would want one now because I feel like it might get hot, but like it could still be cool. It could still be cool. I like the idea though. It's really neat. All these tiny little sketches. Oh, maybe some trees coming through the door. I don't remember if they implemented that in the end. Q Gothic. Oh yes, maybe. Q giant gothic ornate bed. It felt right for Poppy's bed to be as dramatic as she is. I included thick, heavy curtains and drapes mirroring her long hair. The octopus chandelier was meant to have 8 arms, but I made a mistake when drawing the final image, and it gave Adam an idea for a joke in the script. I remember then they said sextopus instead. Wait a minute, did they say 6? Oh no, they just made a mistake. So left 1 arm out, I guess. That's really funny. Look at it in all these different lightings, these nice colors. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Poppy's room is my favorite location in the entire game. Catherine did such a good job designing it, and it goes especially well with Poppy's music by Raphael Benjamin Meyer. And the music was haunting and lovely and beautiful. Her room, honestly, well, you know what? I thought it is more messy in the final version, right? Oopsie, I feel that because my room can be a mess sometimes. So organized chaos, you know where everything is. That's all good. Let's see, workshop. I started by sketching dioramas of an adventurer's bedroom since I knew this room would have many oddities and collected treasures. I wanted every aspect of the room to feel unique, including the light fittings. Yeah, the giant pufferfish! Oh, what's it based on? Not what I was talking about. Fun fact, the giant pufferfish lamp was based on a real-life lamp found in the Pitts Rivers Museum in Oxford, England. Ah, so it's not the one I was thinking of, the fugu in Japan. Okay, cool. It's very, very cool. Huh. Yeah, the light fittings were super specific. It was so bright. And again, I feel like it really contrasted with his like super dark corner. There must have been a purpose to that. The fact that like, here is the light, here's all my heroic deeds, but then this is the true me. I am but a shadow of my past. Is that what it was? Since Felix spends his time reminiscing about his adventures, I thought it felt appropriate for his room to be in the hull of an upside-down ship. You can even see it poking out of the side of the Tangle Tower building. I should have taken a better look at the the thing. I don't know if I can see it from here. That's okay. But it's really cool that you can see all these things from the outside fairly clearly, and I guess I never reflected on it once I had gone through everybody's room, so very cool. All right. Whoops. Yes. Okay, there we go. So, yeah. The sheer number of objects in this room might make it seem like it might be hiding hundreds of clues. However, most of the objects are just random trinkets collected by Felix. Almost all of them spark dialogue between Grimoire and Sally, though. They had a lot to say. I think the little statue in the corner was just like, what is it? Like, he delivered it really funny. I loved that. It's like, it's a statue of like a gremlin or something. I forgot what they said. A romantic setting, nestled between two of the residents' bedrooms, is a secret meeting spot between the Pointer and fellow towers. There's something of a Romeo and Juliet, yeah, absolutely, 100% theme going on, so I included a lot of romantic visuals and iconography. It was very inspired by 18th century Rococo paintings. Yeah. Again, it's such a strange choice that it was between Fitz and Poppy. Why not Penny? Is it just that they got randomly assigned? No, you can't just get randomly assigned rooms. After seeing the layout, you would think you would want to put it between two people who are very familiar with each other, unless like they had decided the rooms before they ever got in a relationship or something. You can only infer, but I just think that's such a strange choice, especially because I don't 100% know if this is actually how it functions, but how do I put this into words? So, when we play the game, our characters could not enter either door until both sides were simultaneously correct, right? So I was wondering if like one person wants to go outside, but the other person is not in their room or not aware that the person would want to go outside. Like, how can you even communicate with each other? Would you have to look at each other wistfully through your windows and be like, hey, can you open it for me? You'd have to get their attention. Like, it just seems like a very inconvenient setup. Right? So I don't know if like in actuality it really functions like that. I wonder if they can just individually open it and just go in whenever they feel like it, not that they have to actually do it at the same time. Anyways, I was thinking about that. This layout image features a giant stone bat at the mouth of the stream, instead of the giant stone frog that it eventually became. A unique feature of this area is that it doesn't play any background music, just the ambient sound design by Caleb Bowen. Yeah. Again, I really liked that tiny bridge. I've seen some places like that, some beautiful gardens with just some tiny bridges, so very lovely. For a little while, Pointer had a telescope so big that he would have climbed up a small tower to reach it. Oh, wow. Ended up being a really, really tiny one. Oh, that's a big change. As elements of the story developed, we felt like a much smaller telescope would be more appropriate to Pointer's character because he doesn't really care about astronomy. He doesn't really care about all that. He just wants money. So maybe he doesn't want anything extravagant. He's just like, I'm going to do the bare minimum to dress my set into tricking people into thinking that I am an astronomer. That's really cool. It really, and like we pointed it out during the story, but it really, really ended up playing into it that there was an outdated model, books that seemed untouched, a notebook that seemed empty. Like it all actually played into his character, so that's really, really cool. This room mirrors Flora's room because it sits at the top of the towers, hence its round structure. I enjoyed theming this room a lot. Church murals inspired the starry night ceiling covered in constellations. I still have, from like, I don't know, many years ago in my childhood, I still have those glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling. I'm looking at them right now. I really like them. I don't think they really glow much anymore, but that's okay. I like looking at them. It only covers one section of the room, because that's where the bed used to be. So it kind of looks a little bit uneven, but I like it. You know me, I'm from space. I like stars. I like all those kinds of imageries. Very wonderful. The larger window in the astronomy tower ceiling, suggests perhaps, there's a lot of typos all of a sudden. At one time, this room was home to much larger and much more impressive equipment. For story reasons, it was important that the desk in the corner looked suspiciously neat and tidy. Yeah. Very cool. Very neat. Oh, so pretty. Love the colors. Love all the colors. We knew we wanted this place to have a different tone to the rest of the game, as it's quite a pivotal moment in the narrative. I wanted it to feel moody, uncomfortable, but also exciting to explore. I really liked the visual of candlelight highlighting the giant carcasses of insects, because it looked so creepy and alien. Yeah, they were super gross. I was saying that if these actually came to life, I would cry, I would sigh, and I would die, respectively. Oh, so this is like a side view of the room. It'd be like if we were standing over here, I think, standing here and looking that way, perhaps, or maybe the opposite. Either way, I think it's a different view, which is really, really cool. Neat. I like this this spooky, like very inconveniently shaped test tube, but very cool looking nonetheless. When we initially had the idea for the secret laboratory, there were 3 rooms dedicated to researching different aspects of the ecosystem: bugs, plants, and water. We realized this felt a little unnecessary, and in the end, we folded all those elements into one single room. Ah, so they were gonna have different areas for that. I see. Okay, okay. They look really, really amazing, though. I like the running water right here, too. It makes it feel very, very spacious. Some concepts for a plant lab, a room which was eventually merged with the insect lab. Ooh, pretty. Pretty. I love seeing a bunch of foliage, overgrown foliage. Very cool. Oh, these like flower-shaped like lily pad leaves. And they're very like, spooky looking. You know, they're colorful and out of this world. Strange because of the unique flora and fauna. Very cool. Nice. The scene of the crime, Flora's room, is set at the top of Fellow Tower. I was keen to get some eerie symbolism in there, and I loved the idea of adding an eye into the ceiling, gazing down at the murder as if the tower itself knows the truth. Ooh, did that end up being implemented? I think it did. It had the little eye. Was there a crack within the eye? I remember, obviously, there's a crack in the ceiling, but I don't remember if it was through an eyeball. If so, it's like all sorts of symbolic. It's all sorts of symbolic. Ooh, spooky. There are many important things. Oh, looks like there is there. It is there. Important things to examine in this room. We put a lot of thought into where items would be placed, making sure everything was balanced. We opted for a dreary, washed-out palette for this room, not only to match Flora's bleak Miss Havisham vibes, but also so it felt like the life had somewhat been sucked out of it. It was a bit more like monochrome, so yeah, cool. Flora's tower was the most important room to get right. We spent a long time tweaking elements and considering how the player might explore the room, what they'd examine first, what they might miss, etc. The drapes were supposed to be blowing in the wind, but we never got it to work properly. That's okay. Flora's hair made up for it more than enough, so it's okay. It worked out. A minimal room with a huge window that opens out onto the lake floor. This room had to feel old, as this was the first part of Tangle Tower that was built a very long time ago. This is kind of off topic, but it just makes me think of I started playing Terraria a little bit ago. I haven't played it in a hot minute, but it's been pretty recent and I really, really enjoyed it. But I played with my pal Berkeley, who does our music, shows up on the channel sometimes, and he and I had just started off with nothing. You're just on the surface with nothing, and we have to quickly build like a tiny little shelter because as soon as night falls, monsters start just attacking you, and if you don't have proper coverage, you just keep freaking dying over and over again, and it's not fun. So we remember starting off from like a tiny little hovel, just like a barely anything, barely covering, no furniture, nothing, just something around us to protect ourselves. And then eventually it turned into this like amazing, large, beautiful, vibrant empire full of interesting and unique items and machines and NPCs. It was just kind of cool to know that we started from this tiny little base and it transformed into this beautiful thing. So it kind of makes you think of Tangle Tower. There was going to be a huge puzzle game in here involving multiple levels of the mansion, but it never happened. Another aspect that it's related to Tangle Tower is that ours also ended up becoming this giant disjointed mess that sort of looked like it got one thing slapped on top of another haphazardly. That's sort of what our place looks like in Terraria, so. Everything about this room suggests years of disuse, except for the single candle which is inexplicably lit. Yes, very spooky. Very spooky. Lastly, I wanted this room to feel threatening, a place where you feel like something bad happened, something you weren't meant to see. Ooh, a foreboding red palette and freakish shadowy figures added to that feeling of discomfort. It was certainly really spooky in here. I felt like, oh, should I be here? I felt like I shouldn't be here. It's kind of scary, so I liked it. The idea of framing a room with large, silhouetted foreground objects, in this case, the stuffed werewolf, was inspired by the art from classic 1990s adventures game. I can see that. I can see that. It's a good way to make a room feel claustrophobic. Yeah, very scary, very spooky. Okay, so that's everything for the locations, and we're running, over the time of a usual episode. I was planning on finishing out the rest today, but like I said at the beginning of the episode, I've got things to do. I need more time, so I'm gonna go ahead and save clues page 1 and 2 for next time. I believe there's only, oh wait, wow, do they all have, so I think they all only have like 1 page, so except for Tangle Tower. I guess we can take a better look at that and see all the different houses and stuff from the outside. But yeah, hopefully I don't think this should take too much longer. Either way, who cares? However long it takes, I'm gonna get through all of it. It's just a matter of giving myself enough time to work on things. So I will see you tomorrow for the rest of the bonus material. Thank you so much for joining. And again, feel free to leave your thoughts and everything. All this stuff is super amazing and very beautiful. See you next time. This is Axis, over and out.